can't be the only person thinking that PlayStation have lost their mind. Welcome back to 128KB News. This is your quick bit of gaming news where we catch up in the week of gaming. And this week, there's only one story worth talking about, and it's just happened. We've just sat through it. The worst kept secret in gaming, the PS5 Pro has been announced, and we now know how much Sony are willing to rip you off. So we had the PlayStation technical presentation where, of course, the PS5 Pro was confirmed, and in a very long-winded, drawn-out fashion, we saw some of the key features and spec increases that we're seeing. Now, the main drive for the PS5 Pro seems to be to narrow the gap between performance mode and fidelity mode, in which a lot of us PlayStation players have been really frustrated at how poor the fidelity mode does perform. So their main objective was this, is to get performance mode looking as good as it can, and they focused on three key areas to do this. That is the GPU, ray tracing, and AI upscaling. So let's look at the GPU to start with. They are increasing the computation. I can't even say that word. They're increasing the computational units by 67%. There's a 28% increase in RAM, which will result in a 45% increase in rendering speeds. Now, looking at the AI upscaling, they're using their own kind of fancy anagram, is it, for this? The PSSR. But basically, it's an AI upscaling, the PlayStation Spectacle Super Resolution. And then we looked at the ray tracing, which admittedly does look pretty nice. They showed some example renders. Let's be honest, they were renders, but it does look very beautiful. They are claiming that they're getting 3-time ray tracing speeds on this. These upgrades to the computational power of the PS5 Pro will give us a doubling of the frame rate in fidelity mode. What we have seen in the PS5 is that frame rate does fluctuate quite a lot. So what a doubling actually results in, well, we're going to have to wait and see. They also showed off the PS5 Pro in performance mode, which was giving a much higher resolution, and that is primarily because of that AI upscaling system that they're going to introduce into the PS5 Pro, the PSSR. We're seeing AI upscaling in a lot of devices now, especially the handheld PCs, and it is truly a really effective way of getting a higher resolution with less performance. We know that in all likelihood, the Nintendo Switch 2, or whatever it will be called, will implement some of this AI upscaling of their own kind. So it's not really that much of a surprise to see this in the PS5 Pro. Now, they are claiming that this is the most powerful PlayStation ever, which really you would hope, as it's the current generation and the Pro version. And of course, this is going to drop right in time for Christmas to extract the maximum money from you all. November the 7th this launches. But the biggest thing we're waiting about this story is how much Sony are willing to charge you for a PS5 Pro. And I'll be honest, I sat there in a good 5 minutes of disbelief after this was announced. I checked in with Andy and the Discord for the channel members to see, am I being crazy in the shock that I'm seeing? And I looked at the reactions in the chat, and no, everyone shares the opinion that this is a crazy amount of money. In the UK, they're asking for £700 for their PS5 Pro, and the same in the US, $700. This is without the stand. They kindly told us stand sold separately, and by the looks of it is the discless version. There's no word as to whether the PS5 Pro will have a disc edition, or indeed if you could attach the current PS5 disc module to it, but we do know that the current PS5 disc version for the digital edition costs £100. So if we're basing it off that, and hopefully they keep the pricing the same, which they're likely not to, then we're looking at a £700 for the base unit, the PS5 Pro, and if you wanted to attach the disc module, then it'll be an additional £100, taking this console to £800 with the disc version without a stand. Ouch. Now, I don't know where Sony are going with this. It seems like a huge amount of money for a games console, and from the reaction I saw in the live chat, the presentation, it really does seem to push them into the PC side of things a little too aggressively. Yes, we are getting great performance. Yes, there is some high-end specs on this, but for £700-800, we're touching on PC territory here. And would you see it as a wise investment dropping that much money on a PlayStation console when you could be a long way to quite a good performing gaming PC? Undoubtedly, this is going to sell really well. It's PlayStation. PlayStation have a recent history of overpricing their hardware and slightly underwhelming a lot of us, but still selling really well. I'm looking at you, PlayStation Portal. But what I will say, as a current gen PlayStation 5 owner, I can't see myself jumping into this. I can't see myself spending £700 on a new PlayStation console when there's very little games so far that would justify that to me. Now, perhaps my opinion will change when we see the likes of maybe Ghost of Tsushima 2 or maybe when GTA 6 drops, games that are really going to need to utilize this higher end performance, then perhaps I will. But right now, it's a games console. We're not looking at a gaming PC. So dropping £800 or dollars on this seems absolutely excessive. But I would love to know what you guys think. So put down in the comments if you have a completely different opinion to this than me, then I'd love to hear from you. Or if you agree with me and think that this is massively overpriced, then let us know down in the comments too. And whilst you're down there digging around, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. I know this is just a quick short news thing, but really there's nothing else we're talking about but the PS5 Pro being so ridiculously overpriced. But before you go, why not watch another video from us here at 128KB? We're a lovely bunch and we love you being here. Perhaps this one, the podcast where me and Andy talk about all things gaming. And until the next time, I will see you next time.